The WRC is dead, and in 2027, the FIA is replacing it with something nobody saw coming. In 2027, the FIA is ripping up the rulebook and starting from scratch. No more hybrids, no more million-pound budgets, no more barriers keeping privateers out. What's coming instead is the biggest shake-up rally has seen in decades, and it's going to completely transform who can compete at the top level. But here's the thing, most people think this is just about ditching the hybrid units and saving a bit of cash. It's not. What the FIA has actually done is redesign the entire philosophy of how rally cars are built, who can build them, and how long they can race them. And if you don't understand these changes, you're going to be completely lost when 2027 rolls around. So let's break it down. Every rule, every change, every reason why this matters. The hybrid disaster. First, we need to talk about why any of this is happening in the first place. The current Rally 1 hybrid era has been an absolute nightmare. When the FIA introduced the 100 kilowatt hybrid system in 2022, it was supposed to be the future. Sustainable, powerful, cutting edge. Instead, it became a money pit. The hybrid units cost teams tens of thousands of euros every time they recorded a big impact. And it wasn't just expensive, it was unreliable. Faults, errors, DNFs. The hybrid system caused chaos from day one. M Sport, the smallest team on the grid, was hit hardest. They couldn't afford the constant repairs. Hyundai and Toyota weren't thrilled either. The whole thing was a disaster and manufacturers started making noises about leaving. So the FIA pulled the plug. Hybrids were dropped from Rally 1 cars in 2025, and for 2027, they've gone even further. They've scrapped the entire Rally 1 concept and started fresh with something called WRC 27. Quick question before we go any further. Do you think ditching hybrids is the right move for the WRC? Or did the FIA just kill the future of rallying? Drop a yes or no in the comments, because this decision has split the rally world in half. What is WRC 27? WRC 27 is the new top class. It replaces Rally 1 entirely, and the goal is simple. Make rally cars cheaper, simpler, and more accessible, without turning them into slow touring cars. Current Rally 1 car costs €1 million plus, versus WRC 27 car costs €345,000. That's a 70% price drop. Here's how it works. WRC 27 cars are built around a spaceframe chassis, basically a tubular steel frame. They use Rally 2 components for the engine, transmission, suspension, brakes, and running gear. That means a 1.6-litre turbocharged 4-cylinder engine producing around 300 horsepower, paired with a 4-wheel drive system. Same mechanical package as Rally 2, but with more freedom on the bodywork and aerodynamics. And here's the kicker. The entire car is capped at €345,000. That's the purchase price. Compare that to the current Rally 1 cars, which cost well over £1 million when you factor in development, hybrid units, and running costs. WRC 27 cuts that by more than half. But it's not just about the price tag. The FIA has designed these regulations to last. WRC 27 is built on a 10-year cycle. That means the rules stay stable from 2027 to 2036. No constant changes, no moving goalposts. Manufacturers and teams can commit long-term without worrying the FIA will change everything in 2 years. Performance? Same speed, lower cost. Now, you might be thinking, if these cars are using Rally 2 engines and cost half as much, surely they're going to be slower, right? Not quite. The FIA's performance target for WRC 27 is to match Rally 2 cars, not blow them away. Xavier Mestelan-Pignon, the FIA's technical director, has been very clear about this. WRC 27 and Rally 2 will share the same engine power. The difference will come down to minimum weight and setup. The goal is to keep both classes at roughly the same performance level. But this creates a huge problem. If a Rally 2 car can almost keep up with the top class, why build a WRC 27 car at all? Why? Because the FIA wants Rally 2 cars to remain competitive. If WRC 27 cars were massively faster, Rally 2 would become irrelevant overnight. By keeping them balanced, the FIA ensures a healthy grid with multiple classes competing for overall wins. It also means privateers in Rally 2 cars can still fight for podiums, which is exactly what the sport needs. Homologation, build 10, sell 10, race for 10 years. Here's where things get interesting. The FIA has completely rewritten the homologation rules, and these changes are designed to open the door for smaller manufacturers and specialist tuners. To homologate a WRC 27 car, a constructor must build at least 10 units within 24 months of homologation approval. The constructor must also be capable of supplying at least 10 fully race-ready WRC 27 cars per calendar year to customers. That means customer cars. That means privateers can buy a factory-spec WRC 27 car and go racing. This is huge. For years, the WRC has been dominated by factory teams with massive budgets. Privateers were stuck in Rally 2 or lower classes. Now, if you've got the cash and the commitment, you can buy a top-class car and compete for overall wins. It's the same model that works in GT racing, and it's finally coming to Rally. And once a car is homologated, that homologation is valid for 10 years. That gives teams and privateers long-term stability. You're not going to spend £500,000 on a car, only to have the rules change 2 years later and make it obsolete. Constructors, not just manufacturers. The FIA has also changed the language around who can compete. From 2027, the championship is no longer just for manufacturers, it's for constructors. What's the difference? A constructor is any organization that designs, builds, homologates, and commercially supplies WRC 27 cars. That includes traditional manufacturers like Toyota and Hyundai, but it also includes specialist tuners and engineering firms. This could bring back the spirit of the Group A and early WRC eras, where specialist engineering firms played a huge role. This is a game changer. In the past, you had to be a major car manufacturer to compete at the top level. Now, a small tuning house could design a WRC 27 car, homologate it, and sell it to customers. Think of it like LMP2 in endurance racing, where multiple chassis builders compete alongside factory teams. The FIA has even written the rules to allow partial homologation. If one constructor supplies incomplete cars or components to another, the base model's minimum production can be reduced accordingly. That means collaboration is encouraged. A small tuner could partner with a larger manufacturer to share costs and resources. Bodywork freedom. Build what you want. This is the first time in 50 years that WRC bodywork isn't tied to a road car. One of the most radical changes in WRC 27 is the bodywork regulations. In the past, rally cars had to be based on production models. You couldn't just design a car from scratch. You had to start with a road car shell and modify it within strict limits. Not anymore. WRC 27 introduces a dedicated bodywork chapter that gives constructors massive freedom. You can design your own exterior as long as it fits within maximum width, height, and overhang limits. You don't have to copy a production car. You can scale bodywork. You can create original designs. The body doesn't have to be a one-to-one replica of a road car. It just has to be broadly brand representative if you're a manufacturer. This opens the door for all sorts of wild designs. Want to build a hatchback? Go for it. Want to build an SUV? Fine. Want to build something completely bespoke? As long as it fits the dimensional envelope, you're good. Aerodynamics are controlled by global targets, prescribed drag and downforce windows, simple surface, and wing size limits, rather than the complex prescriptive Rally 1 style aero packages. That gives freedom in concept but caps overall performance. You can't just bolt on massive wings and dominate. The FIA has set performance limits to keep the playing field level. Sustainable fuel, no hybrid mandate. WRC 27 cars will run on 100% sustainable fuel. That's non-negotiable. The FIA has been pushing sustainable fuels since 2022, and that's not changing. But here's what is changing. There's no hybrid mandate. The regulations allow constructors to choose between sustainably fueled internal combustion engines, hybrid powertrains, or even fully electric systems. But the initial target for 2027 is sustainably fueled ICE only. Hybrids and full EVs are permitted, but they're expected to come later, if at all. Why? Because the FIA learned its lesson. Mandating hybrids in Rally 1 was a disaster. It drove costs through the roof and scared manufacturers away. By making hybrids optional, the FIA gives constructors flexibility. If someone wants to develop a hybrid WRC 27 car down the line, they can, but they're not forced to. This leaves a big question. Will anyone actually choose to build a hybrid WRC 27 car? Or is this just a safety net? Standardized parts, Rally 2 components. To keep costs down, WRC 27 cars use a lot of standardized Rally 2 components. Engines, suspension, running gear, brakes. These are all proven off-the-shelf parts that already exist in Rally 2. That means constructors don't have to spend millions developing bespoke systems. They can buy the parts, bolt them onto a spaceframe chassis, design their own bodywork, and go racing. This is how the FIA is hitting that €345,000 cost cap. By using common components, they've slashed development costs. And because Rally 2 parts are already widely available, customer support is easier. If you break a gearbox, you can get a replacement quickly. You're not waiting weeks for a factory-built bespoke unit. What this means for the future. So, what does all this actually mean for the WRC? First, it means more cars on the grid. The lower costs and customer car model should attract privateers and smaller teams who couldn't afford Rally 1. We could see 15, 20, maybe even 25 cars competing for overall wins. That's a massive change from the current grid, where only 3 manufacturers run factory teams. Second, it means long-term stability. The 10-year homologation cycle gives manufacturers and teams confidence to invest. You're not going to see the constant rule changes that plagued Rally 1. The FIA has committed to a stable platform, and that's exactly what the sport needs. Third, it means innovation. The bodywork freedom and flexible powertrain options give constructors room to experiment. We could see radical designs, new manufacturers, and specialist tuners entering the championship. The WRC could look completely different in 5 years. But there's a catch. All of this depends on manufacturers and teams actually committing. Toyota has already confirmed they're developing a WRC 27 car. Hyundai is considering upgrading their Rally 2 i20N. M Sport is evaluating their options. But if the big names don't commit, the whole thing falls apart. The FIA has done their part. They've created a rule book that's cheaper, simpler, and more accessible. Now it's up to the manufacturers to step up. The bottom line. The WRC 2027 rule changes are the biggest shake-up Rally has seen in decades. No hybrids, €345,000 cost cap, Rally 2 components, spaceframe chassis, 10-year homologation, customer cars, bodywork freedom, constructors, not just manufacturers. This isn't just a tweak, it's a complete reset. And if it works, it could save the WRC. If it doesn't, we could be looking at a championship with 3 cars and no future. 2027 is coming fast, and when it arrives, Rally will never be the same. If you enjoyed this, I'm going to be posting a lot here, so it would mean a lot if you subscribed. Thanks for watching.